Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is The Beam. Today is a very special episode of the program as Nigeria marks 65 years of independence. But celebration must be balanced with interrogation and conquest to ensure that this nation is well balanced. So we're asking the question, how does a nation move from being a symbol to substance? How does it move from image to identity? How do we rebrand, reform, and reposition the nation? My guest is someone who has spent his career at the intersection of communication, strategy, and nation building. Ademuyiwa Taofeek, seasoned strategic communication professional, digital literacy advocate, and CEO of Inspire Solutions and Inspire Academy, a digital literary advocate who has trained more than 1,500 young people in digital communications. Mr. Ademuyiwa, you're welcome to The Beam.
Thank you, Mr. Soonest.
Yes, it's very important that we brought you for this session when it comes to rebranding this nation at 65. And then let me ask you that brand question. What will be Nigerians' brand today in pain terms? What will it be?
So I'll say, amidst every other thing, I'll say transformation in action. We've been able to dump the negative behind us. And today, let's look at the good things that we are experiencing as a country right now. We have about 5 unicorns out of 8 unicorns in Africa, which means that our young people are driving change, which means that we can also do more. We are seeing Nigerian artists shutting down stadiums with Afrobeats around the world. And for me, this is the beginning of good things to come for Nigeria. And I'm so proud that we are here today.
Okay, so it's beautiful that you've brought in the youth population and everything. And one of the problems which the youth have been having has been this breach in communications. So, as somebody who's an expert, where do you see that, that communication gap between the youth, the government, and the society in general? Where's that communication gap coming in as a problem?
So I feel the strategists, the communication experts of the government, I think what they do most importantly, most times is they do a fire brigade approach. They don't use the proactive strategies to ensure that these communications are broken down for every demography. For example, if you want to launch a policy, say 3 months' time, you have to be talking about the policies now, because Nigerians are not fools. Nigeria understand. Nigeria, this is a very big country with a lot of brilliant people. So if you look them in the eyes and tell them, this is why we are doing this thing is paining you, we want to fix it. But if you come just 3 months and you just launch it on them, then there will be pushbacks, and you think those pushbacks are because they don't like the country. No, it's because you are not strategic enough to be proactive in your communication policy.
So the strategy has to be ahead of time. Bring people in, make sure that they're carried along.
Yes.
Now let's go back to that youth. You've trained a lot of youth, thousands of them, right? How do we channel that youth budge to become something that becomes a real advantage for the nation? Because according to statistics, the more we grow, the more problems it might turn out to if we don't strategically position it.
I don't know if you've heard from people globally, they're saying Nigerian talents are the best. Nigerian talents are resilient, Nigerian talents are patient, they are innovative, and they are forward-thinking. So for me, now that we know we have the talent, I'll borrow from the words of Yola Boyeji, the founder of Adela, and of course Flutterwave. He said something that of course is very important, that Nigerian young people of this country, they need infrastructure. It is not just about training. When they now have the skills, do they have infrastructure to practice, to show that they can do these things? You understand? So he said something that is quite catchy too. He said, in Nigeria today, we don't have a facility that can host about 3,000 young people with free internet and power supply so that they could create, innovate, and change the landscape, as it were. So for me, I want to think that is our problem. Nigerian youths have the platforms from the government agency, from private CSR and whatnot. They train them every day. So this is what I've also experienced. We've seen situations where we train people and they just feel like, oh, I have this idea, but sir, I need startup capital. So apart from infrastructure, the young people of this country, they need access to capital to start off something. Because as it is now, SME is a driving force in the economy. We have about 89, according to SMIDA, we have about 70 to 89 million small businesses. And guess what? They fail within the 3 years of starting the business. So if they have access to capital, there's infrastructure, the government creates a level playground for everybody, I think we'll have a better Nigeria, and the brand will be big and huge for our country.
Wow, that's well said. I mean, let's go back now to your roots, communications, rebranding. We're talking rebranding at 65. We're talking repositioning. We're talking reformation. How do we tie this? I mean, a nation cannot rebrand without reforming its institutions per se, right? How do you see this playing out in the light of this nation, I mean, the president saying all hands on deck and all that, how do you see that play out?
So for me, the president has done well. He's been marketing the country through its own reforms, right? So I want to agree with everybody who says that you cannot really rebrand a country without reforming institutions. Because if you look at the models, the likes of South Korea, the likes of Rwanda, the likes of Japan have taken, you will see that they were very, very conscious of the fact that these institutions are the platforms where we can show what we can do. So let's rebrand institutions. Let's reform institutions rather. So when you reform institutions, the stories, the success stories that you have there, you sell it to the world. The world accepts you as you are, and they want to come invest. You understand? So for us as a country, what we must do, so that it doesn't look like it's cosmetic, is to first of all reform our institutions, the institutions that we know that can drive growth, like the oil and gas sector. What we are seeing now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the oil and gas sector is everywhere saying Nigeria is now open to business because we have removed fuel subsidy, we've removed the dollar arbitrage and whatnot. That is how you build a nation that wants to have a very good brand in the global stage.
So, I mean, beyond PR, beyond PR, you know, that strategic communication, how do you see it? I mean, how do you think it should start playing out? I mean, I want you to give us, you know, like a masterclass of how you think that this should play out within a few years now.
So, realistically, if you want to look at the way we play our game in Nigeria, especially in the governance and the policy space, you would see that a whole lot of policymakers, executive members, they appoint media heads, but they don't get to hire PR strategists that help them break down their comm strategy in such a way that every demography would understand. I'll give you an example. My son, he doesn't know about Shango, he doesn't know about Oya, but he knows about the superhero called Captain America. You understand? Those things are deliberate. They want people to love their country from age 5, 4, 6 and thereabout. So what we can do as a people, let's vote for people that understands how to pass the right messaging. So people should not say, oh, because he has spent 10 years in journalism. No, you can spend 10 years in journalism, you don't understand the ethics of PR. You don't understand how strategic communication works. So I believe the 774 local government chairpersons should always look out for PR strategies to employ, to help them communicate effectively.
From the grassroots.
From the grassroots. Then you do that with all the ministries. So even if we are facing just 3 economies, Mr. Sunest, we are sure that every policy that we are trying to make to better the lives of Nigerians are very, very good, and they are communicated effectively, and people understand, so they begin to own these policies, and they are proud of their country.
Where does digital literacy come into all that we have been discussing when it comes to the future of this nation, the rebranding of it, and the repositioning in the community of nation? Where does digital literacy, looking at the age in which we are now, where does it come into play?
So digital literacy in this sphere helps you to ask the right questions. Because if you don't know how to use the internet, for example, how would you know your money is being embezzled? If you are not in tune with being digital savvy or whatnot, you don't even know how to ask questions, you don't even know the budget allocations, you don't even know, some don't even know their local government chairpersons. You don't need to walk straight to his office by even chatting him up on Twitter, asking the right question. Sir, look at it. We've seen a whole lot happen in our digital space where people will just snap the picture of a pothole and they just post it. So being part of this digital revolution means that you are ready to ask the right questions. It means you are ready to hold the government to account. So digital literacy actually also helps in ensuring there's this independence of expressing your opinion. It helps you also make money online. Guess what? Our content creators, they are making a lot of money. If you don't follow the right path to be digital literate, you would not ask the right questions, you would not follow your counterpart around the world and make money online. We have freelancers from Nigeria. I give you an example, my brother. By just knowing how to use the phone, you are one step from your dreams. You see, for example, the world at large, they like our accents. They like when we speak on this call center gig, the gig economy. if you want to be part of the gig economy, you have to learn how to use the phone. You have to learn how to be on the internet. You understand, with your laptops, with your mobile devices. The opportunities abound when it comes to digital literacy is enormous. We can't even exhaust it here. So we need to ensure that any government that wants to put up their manifesto to us, we need to ensure that they have plans to, of course, absorb the people who are at the bottom of the chain to be digital literate.
I like the way you say it. So let's bring it back to the content creators. I like when you mentioned that. You see, the content creators are supposed to play a major role when it comes to the selling of the story.
I agree with you.
But what we see in the nation today, are you okay with the kind of content that we are creating? Because it seems like we're almost creating the same kind of things just to make money, per se.
So I feel the government has to step in. Not to regulate or not to pursue them up and down, but we need to find a way to create a framework that works for all of them, so that you know some people don't even know what to do and what not to do on the internet. Do you understand? Creating content doesn't mean you should misinform the public. Creating content should actually help you as a person to do your bit to help the country. Do you understand? I've never been to some of the Western countries, but because of their content creators, I've seen how beautiful they are. Yeah. Guess what? There are so many crises in some parts of the world, and Nigerians want to visit, Africans want to visit. It's because the content creators are not showing the negative part. You understand? So if you think the negative content that you are creating are helping you make money, try the positive ones.
Exactly.
And see yourself own this country, see yourself as a major stakeholder in building this country. Right. You will see that when you start creating beautiful content. I give you a very good example is this cyclist guy in Lagos. He goes around. It's not as if we don't have places we are not really proud of in Lagos as a country. But I've never seen him portray Nigeria in that light or Lagos in that light. These are examples of how we can build a nation, rebrand this country with the mobile phones, with our mobile gadgets. You understand? Right. This, for me, are where the content creators have a role to play.
All right. You're watching The Beam, where the old is reckoned with, the future is interrogated, and power is held to purpose. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Don't go away.